Hello, hello, hello. Well, hello there, and welcome to my very first episode of Wealthy Living. Before we get into today's episode, I'd just like to take some time to shout out to KMJP Productions down in Trinidad. Thank you so much. Without you, this could not have been possible. Here at KMJP Productions, they offer songwriting, editing, producing, and lots more. For more information, visit their Facebook page at KMJP Productions. And without further ado, let's get straight into today's episode. The purpose of today's episode is to introduce the podcast to you, tell you a little bit about myself, and what inspired me to create this podcast. I will start off by explaining the reason why I chose to place a W at the beginning of the word healthy, because I know that some of you came here with the preconceived opinion that I was crazy or illiterate. But no hard feelings. I'm just honestly happy that you guys stopped by, because that means that you're willing to hear me out and give me a chance to explain myself and understand why I did that. Okay, so I placed a W at the beginning of the word healthy because here at Wealthy Living, our slogan is we are wealthy because we are healthy. And this is figurative wealth that we're speaking of. You know how they say that your health is your wealth? Exactly. So now that you understand the reason why I did that, let's get into the main objectives of this podcast. In this podcast, we will be discussing the various health conditions that affect the human body and examine herbs and other natural remedies that can help or totally reverse them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a doctor, but I just honestly felt led to create this safe space to educate and entertain you, my listeners, because I went through a lot, and honestly, I wish that I had something like this to relate to, because when you are going through struggles, you tend to feel alone, you know? Also, the main reason why I created this podcast was because of my diagnosis of PCOS 3 years ago. In case you don't know, PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And in episode 2, I will go into detail as to what is PCOS and symptoms and some natural remedies that worked for me. With that being said, sometimes I will have some guests, interviewing them so they could share their experiences and exchange ideas. But most times it will just be me. So y'all better get used to my voice. And as promised, I will tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Kanisha. I am from the Nature Isle of the Caribbean. And in case you guys don't know, the country which is considered the Nature Isle of the Caribbean is Dominica. And the reason why we are considered the Nature Isle of the Caribbean is because we have rivers, valleys, hills, and mountains. So if you ever want to take a nice river bath, we'd be more than happy to have you. So if you want to know more about me, just stick around, because I find it hard to just openly speak about myself. So thank you guys so much for sticking around till the end. Just in case you guys were wondering, you can find this podcast on 9 platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Radio Public, Overcast, Castbox, Pocket Cast, and YouTube. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feel free to email us at living.wealthy02@gmail.com. That is living.wealthy02@gmail.com. Remember, we are wealthy because we are healthy, and I am just so proud of you for choosing yourself and choosing your health. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this information with your family and friends. Until next time, it's your girl Kanisha. Adios.